All right, let me get my other screen working here. Okay. All right, so good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. My name's Kim Kropp. I'm the District Commissioner in Eagle Valley and also the area chair for the southwest corner of our council, which incorporates Anawanna Trails, Eagle Valley, Lackawanna, and Mon Valley districts. So thanks for joining me in my presentation on scouting in a virtual world. So tonight we are going to talk about some virtual platforms, some digital safety measures to follow while doing online activities, as well as utilizing social media. I'll show you some really cool things available to you to help you in your efforts of providing scouting while at home. And if you haven't seen it already, we'll go over the safe restarting checklist to help you get back to meeting in person. I have a few guest speakers who have met virtually and are meeting in person to give you some ideas on how they've managed it. And then we'll have a district-specific breakout session. So that will be timed. We're just going to do 20 minutes. There's not that many people in each breakout. But basically what it is, it's going to give each district commissioner, their district chair, or their district executive, or all of them combined, an opportunity to find out from you, unit by unit, how you're meeting. Are you meeting, hopefully, or are you going to start meeting again, and what help you might need from council or the district to get you back up and running. So in my conversations with unit leaders so far, the biggest question is, how can we have meetings? Back in March, we all know the governor shut us all down, and our PACs were already almost to the end of their scouting year anyway, so they closed down. Then we went into summer, and it was the PAC summer break, so they haven't really been meeting. But fall is here now, believe it or not. Next week is September, and it's time to get back into the normal start of things. And a lot of our PACs and troop leaders don't know how they're going to navigate this. Our troops, basically, though, on the other hand, they had the virtual world thrust upon them. It started in March, and for them to continue meeting, they had to have virtual meetings, and they did. So that's how they've been doing it. But we went green in June, and that was the green light also for our troops to start meeting again in person, and a lot have taken advantage of that. But winter's around the corner, and we might be right back where we started from in March and having to do this virtually. So we are all still asking, how can we have meetings? How you are going to meet is really going to depend on a lot of factors. If you're locked out of your meeting place and can't find another alternative meeting place, then the virtual meetings are going to be our best bet for now. So let's start then by talking about some virtual platforms. So I didn't know very much about these myself, to be honest with you. Never really had to do these until recently. And I did a quick Google search just to find out the best free platforms that there are. And up popped this article listing the top 6 free virtual conference call services in 2020. So I'm sure other sources are going to have different opinions. The purpose of this slide was not to rate the services for you, but to just come up with a list of available platforms for you to then be able to decide for yourselves what platform would be best for you to use. In a previous council call, the question was asked, I think it might have been asked to Charlie actually, if the units could use the council's platforms for their meetings. Well, unfortunately, that isn't possible. Just think about it. So consider how many units you have in your own district. Eagle Valley has 51 units. And then consider how many districts we have in our council. So the chances are, multiple units are going to be meeting all on the same night, all at the same time. And the only way for you to be able to hold your own meeting is to use your own platform. So my research here was also to provide you with information on those platforms that were free. I know what a unit budget looks like, and I know that there just isn't any extra money in there to pay for a virtual platform. So you'll see from the coming slides that there are some good free options out there for you to use. When I was doing my research on RingCentral, though, I do want to point out they were listed on here as being a good free service, but when I went to their website, it did indicate that they were only offering their services for free for education and healthcare organizations dealing with COVID. And even then, they were only going to give them free services up through September 30th. So none of that pertains to us. So there's no more talk going to be about RingCentral. So I just first wanted to mention here for you, freeconferencecall.com. Their service is completely free. Everything is free. If you go to their website, they don't have any platforms that charge you money. They do ask for a donation, but you don't have to give a donation. You can use it free. Pretty good if you are just trying to do a den meeting or a troop meeting or a PAC meeting. You can host up to 1,000 participants on a call. I don't think that we are ever going to have that many people on a call. That's a lot, but it's there. And there are no time limitations for your call either. So you could, have a quick den meeting, or you could have a long troop meeting or a conference call, whatever it is. So it's free, and I know it's been used. We've used it a lot in our district as well too for our roundtable meetings, and it works well. So that is a service for you to think about. Now, the biggest known service right now is Zoom. Everyone's talking about Zoom. This platform we're using tonight is Zoom. This isn't the free version of Zoom, however, but it's still a very popular service right now. I know in the beginning they had some security issues, but I know they've done a really good job of tightening up those issues, so they're having less chances of them being hacked. So the free version does have a time limit, however, of 40 minutes for your calls. I have heard from a couple scouters in our district. They're using the free Zoom account. They've had meetings that have gone over 40 minutes and they haven't got cut off. So must be something that Zoom is allowing people to do right now. Don't know when that's going to stop happening or from happening, but for now, think about it as 40-minute time limit. You can host up to 100 participants. So again, it would be a great source to sufficient to hold a troop or a PAC meeting. I skipped one, sorry about that. There we go. I clicked too many times. Okay, freeconference.com. So this is not to be confused with freeconferencecall.com. Yes, they are two separate services. This one is actually pretty good in the fact that you can host a larger number of participants, 100 participants, and they don't have any time limitations. So it might be a service that you might want to check out. Google Meet. So if you're already using Gmail or Google Photos or YouTube or any other Google product, you can just sign into your existing Google account. Their free version allows you to host up to 100 participants. This one has a time limit of an hour. So still not that bad. Sometimes you think an hour might be too long. So if you've got Google accounts, you can use that. And the last one here is Uber Conference. So this service is actually, you would only be able to host smaller meetings. They only allow up to 10 participants. Maybe if you had just a patrol meeting or a smaller den meeting, and it does have a time limit of 45 minutes. So those are some available platforms that you can check into. I didn't go into all of the services that they have. They all have other ones that you can pay for, but these were just to show you what was free to use. So as Scouting is starting to move more to virtual and online platforms, I thought it would be a good idea to offer the following reminders to help keep our Scouts safe. So if you didn't already know this, National had published a health and safety moment back in April, on April 22nd, titled Digital Safety and Online Scouting Activities. As an overview, youth protection policies all still apply in an online environment. So make sure that you always have two deep leadership in any online activity or meeting, and you should have no one-on-one contact between an adult leader and a scout. When you have a meeting, make sure it is open to observation by parents, but really that wouldn't be any different than us holding an in-person meeting where our parents are there and available to attend it as well. And unlike what we're doing here this evening, we're recording this meeting, but you are not to record any activity or meeting that includes youth participants. So remember that. If there's a youth in it, you are not allowed to record it. You should also regularly review the latest security features of your chosen virtual platform to make sure that you don't get any unauthorized visitors or have any other security issues to deal with in your meetings. Use business-oriented conference platforms that include good safety and privacy features instead of platforms that are used for other purposes such as gaming. Use unique meeting ID numbers and utilize passwords for your sessions. Do not publish these meeting invitations in a public forum. If your platform allows it, use waiting room features to let the right people into your meetings. So again, tonight we had a waiting room. The name came up and Charlie was able to verify that they were a Scouter and he allowed them in. Make sure to disable features that you won't need. Not everyone on the call has to have the ability to screen share. You don't want the possibility of something else popping up on the screen. And make sure to safeguard your all personal information that you collect. So if you collect the parents' personal information online to register them for the meeting, make sure that they're aware of it and only use it for those meeting purposes. New communication vehicles have now enabled current and past Scouts and Scouters, as well as those interested in participating or those who were just interested in Scouting in general, to communicate directly with each other about Scouting. So that's really exciting. These online social media tools such as Facebook and YouTube, they've all made it possible for virtually anyone to create and be part of online communities where people can discuss Scouting and share stories, photos, videos, or other types of media. Using social media to connect with others interested in Scouting can be a very positive experience for our units, but the creation and maintenance of these channels require responsibility. So if you did not know already, National had posted social media guidelines. Once you get the PowerPoint, you can follow it using that link there, and then you can read them all of the guidelines. I'm just going to highlight a few here. First, everyone should strictly adhere to the terms of service and all existing guidelines outlined by the social media channel that you are using. Follow the Scout Oath and Law. And youth protection should always be a key focus. Your communication through these channels must always be public, and you should not have any private or invite-only groups. Too deep leadership means no private messaging. Make sure that your social media accounts are monitored. Consider setting up the page so that all posts need to be approved first before they're actually posted. So then, if that's the case, you should also make sure to have additional administrators designated for that page. I know in Eagle Valley District, our Facebook page We have multiple administrators because if you have someone who isn't on Facebook all that often, such as myself, well then it doesn't make sense if that person is the only one who can approve the post. Because what is the purpose of social media? It's basically getting information to people right away. If a post were to happen, maybe on a page that you have somewhere that could be negative in nature, only respond to it if it is warranted. Not every post needs to have a response. You might post a picture of a scout event that you just had, and maybe a parent might post that, well, the event would have been better if it didn't rain. So you don't have to respond to them basically saying, well, you know, your experience could have been better if you were prepared by having some rain gear. But you could just let it go without a response, or you could post something like, what is the scout saying about rain? It's just liquid sunshine. So just remember to be scout-like at all times on social media, because a scout is friendly, courteous, and kind. There was also an article posted recently. If you don't know about Scouting Wire, there's a lot of resources there for you. And there was an article posted on July 31st about how to use social media to spread the word about Scouts BSA. First thing is you can use hashtags to post in short social posts about your unit's open houses or a positive personal scouting experience, or why scouting is meaningful to your family. There's a few hashtags right there that you can use. They also posted some of these ready-made posts that you could use on Facebook. So again, these are things that National and have put out for us already to use, and the work has already been done, so let's use it. And again, can't forget about Instagram. Here's some text options for you to complement photos of scouting adventures, or you can even use maybe the pre-made videos and such that National has put out. So again, if you don't know about that yet, the BSA Brand Center through the Marketing and Membership Hub is a fantastic resource for you. There are all kinds of official logos and social media images and videos that are already made and available for all of the programs, Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, and Venturing. So if you haven't checked them out yet, you really should make it a point to do that. Now, we're also going to be to help out your units with some program content, maybe to use while you're scouting virtually at home. When winter gets here and you're not able to find a place to meet, you're going to have to start doing the virtual meetings if your unit meeting place is not open. So the Laurel Highlands Council here has a page dedicated to this on their website. So I'm going to try to navigate myself there. No, maybe I can't. Okay, Charlie, can you see that? Thumbs up.
I just see the slide deck still.
Okay, you're not seeing the BSA. Okay, the web page yet. New share, hold on. Let me adjust myself. Can you see that now?
Now we see it.
Okay, all right, so here, this is the Laurel Highlands Council Scouting at Home page. So first we're at these 30-day Scouts challenges. So these were made available if you knew about them already, but pretty soon after the shutdown, maybe back in April. But if you hadn't taken advantage of them yet, maybe especially on the Cub Scout side, they have these 30-day challenges for all ranks of scouting, Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, Each week, see if I'll just pull up one here. So I just pulled up the 30-day Wolf Challenge. As you can see, you know, each week of the challenge coincides with a specific adventure for Cub Scouts. And then they also have rank specific ones for Scout Tenderfoot, second class, and first class. So again, all of this planning has been done for you, so you could just share it with your dens or patrols, and they can do the work, earn their ranks, and just share their work with you if needed, be it via they take a video or they take a picture, and they can share it with you virtually, and then that way they can still complete their rank advancements, even if we're meeting virtually. Another thing on this page that you can get to from this page as well too is Den Leader Tips and Tricks. This we have here is the new Den Leader experience. It's a really cool video. If you have new Den leaders in your packs, have them check this out, watch this. They also have down here all kinds of rank overview videos. So if you are a brand new pack leader or a den leader, you can just go find out the rank that you're doing, watch the video. Also good for, you know, you were a tiger den leader and now you're going to be the wolf den leader. So, you know, go to the appropriate one on here and watch the video. If you saw here, they also have den leader tips and tricks about having a flag ceremony. So again, a whole bunch of wonderful resources available right at your fingertips for you, den leaders to watch and help you with providing a good scouting experience. Now, Scout Book. If you haven't been using Scout Book yet in your units, I would suggest getting that set up, because for our den leaders, they have these really new resources available for you on how to keep in touch with your dens. You can track your attendance, and you can send out meeting invites and on a calendar. You know, you can post to them that, you know, next week at our den meeting, this is what rank advancements, or, you know, we're going to be working on. So again, a ton of information available for you. So take advantage of it. And the last thing here on this page is these crowdsourced den leader virtual resources. So I thought this was pretty cool. I didn't even know that all of this was here until last week when I was looking at this. So these are videos that have been put out by Scouters in all kinds of different councils across the United States here, and it's all broken down by rank. So Lion, you know, you have this Animal Kingdom adventure presented by the Connecticut Rivers Council. It's a video. Pick the ones, the adventure that you are working on, and find a video. You can share this with the scouts in your den, and it will help them work through the requirements to earn the rank. So again, it's all here: Wolf, Bear, Webelos, Arrow of Light. So it's all on this page, and I would suggest that you take advantage of it, because we know there's a lot coming our way, and there has been a lot put together for us to use. So I thought that was really awesome. All right, now let's get us back to the presentation. Are you seeing the presentation now, Charlie? Nope. Now? Okay, great. All right, I'm going to advance us a couple slides. Okay. Let's admit Jared back in. He got kicked off. Okay. Okay, so now let's maybe start talking about actually meeting in person and how that's going to happen if you haven't done that yet, or you know, what is everyone's thoughts about it? So national or council isn't going to tell us specifically that it's okay to start meeting in person. These really are a conversation that needs to happen between the unit leaders and your chartered organization and your scouting families as well too. National did, however, come out with this Restart Scouting checklist to help us, and it outlines several minimum guiding protocols that we should consider. We're working on how to resume those activities again to in person. So if it's not practical to meet the minimal protocols, then don't restart your in-person activities. So first of all, engage in the before you gather protocols. These are basically understanding the local guidance on preventing COVID exposure. Communicate to all parents and youth that the BSA recommends that no one in the higher risk category take part in person activities. Communicate that if you feel sick, you must stay home. Educate and train all the participants on appropriate social distancing, hand hygiene. Provide screening protocols for your participants, taking temperatures before events. If needed, wear your face coverings, and communicate to everyone that those who take part in in-person activities should avoid contact with higher risk individuals for 14 days after the event. Assess then the planned activity that you want to have, and make sure that it will not put higher risk individuals in harm's way. Also want to make sure that group sizes are not prohibited by local or state orders. So a lot of us here in this area are in Allegheny County, and our restrictions are a lot more strict than, say, Washington County. So, you know, in-person meetings indoors can't exceed more than 25 people. If you're out, you have 50 people. I know it's a lot to think about and a lot to try to manage while you're having meetings, just to make sure that you are following the guidelines to the best of your ability to be able to continue having these in-person meetings. You also might want to review the health records for everyone, and consider National does have out a pre-event screening form. The link to that is on this slide. When you get the PowerPoint, you can get to it. It is the typical one specific to COVID. It's like the same things we're seeing all the time. You know, do you have a cough? Do you have a fever of more than 100.4? Are you not feeling well? You know, those kind of things. But the BSA now has one of those pre-event screening forms as well too. So utilize that document before your meetings. Then you want to follow the as you gather protocol. So minimum your group sizes. Small groups of participants who remain 6 feet apart and do not share objects are at the lowest risk. Stay local to your geographic area. Minimize mixing with parents or siblings unless they're part of the unit activity. And parents, you know, should stay in the car after dropping off their scout. Have hand sanitizer available at the meetings. Minimize the use of common areas and shared tools. Develop dining protocols and tenting protocols if you're going to do some camping. And always recognize that shared equipment should be disinfected before and after each use. In all of this, though, we do have to recognize that every member, volunteer, and their family has to evaluate their unique circumstances and make an informed decision before attending in-person activities. as much information as you can provide to them before each activity. How you plan on following the CDC rules, what it is that they will need to do before or attending the meeting, you know, all of that information. As much of that as you can provide, it's going to help each family make that informed decision better about getting back to scouting. So that is enough of the presentation. Now I do have some guest speakers on the call, and I do believe we have Jared. He got back. So Charlie, if you would be able to unmute Jared. He's the Cub Master from PAC 326 in Eagle Valley District. I know from talking with him that their PAC last month, they had an AOL crossover ceremony, and I think next month they have something planned. So I wanted to have Jared talk to us a little bit about that, what steps they took to be able to have it, and you know, how things went with it. So Jared, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, Jared. Thanks for joining the call tonight and agreeing to help me out. So can you tell us a little bit about, again, what we talked about, that your AOL crossover ceremony, how did you guys have that with your PAC?
I can.
Okay.
So we generally have a fairly busy summer program to begin with. So this all kind of, just like everybody else, I'm sure, kind of hit everybody pretty hard and quick with what to do. So like everybody else, we kind of shut down at March and didn't really do a whole lot for the next 3 months or so. And then when we started getting back into in-person PAC type meetings, what we ended up doing was starting those at Guyasuta and trying to find, because they were willing to have the 15 to 20 person size groups out there. So as we went out there, we got back into the PAC meetings, or PAC sized meetings, by doing BB gun and archery type stuff out there. And then some of the, and as far as following guidelines, we pretty much followed whenever you listed the SAFE guidelines before. I'm not going to go rehash all of what you said there, but some of the things on top of that of what we did is whenever we did have 10 or 15 kids or plus show up, we would break them up into smaller groups and then have separate activities for smaller groups. So for archery and BB gun type events, we would limit that to 6 or 7 scouts to do that, and then we would take the rest of the group and we would try to do a hike through Guyasuta. So that was one additional way that we tried to manage larger groups, doing that. And as far as the crossover that we had for our AOLs, our chartered organization is still closed. They're not allowing any youth inside of in the building, and we're only allowed to have 1 or 2 adults in the building to just exchange equipment whenever we need to go in there. So that's, again, for a PAC that's been as busy as we have been over the summer, that was also it's been a struggle to do that too. So the crossover that we had for our AOLs, we ended up finding a park that in our area, Elm Leaf Park, if anybody is from Baldwin, and Baldwin's currently not accepting any, or they weren't at the time taking any reservations for it. So we ended up kind of getting there early and staking a claim at the park, and then but we kept it outdoors. We maintained normally we have that as a PAC event, the whole PAC's there. But because we wanted to get the AOLs crossed over, we limited that to just the AOL den, who was crossing over to a troop, and they were already actively participating with the troop. So we did a crossover for just them, and we followed the socially distant guidelines and masks. I got there ahead of time and made sure the bathrooms were disinfected, because we didn't see if there was a guideline or a post on whether or not they were doing that. So a couple of us got there early and we cleaned whatever picnic tables were there. We cleaned the bathrooms. The drinking fountains were shut off, so we didn't have to worry about that. And we kept the kids away from the park too. But we set up hand washing stations and sanitizing stations. we tried to keep the kids from playing. We just had we had the event itself. So instead of having like a gathering activity where the kids would run around and do an event together, we kind of limited it to just a very specific crossover ceremony. As far as that event goes, I mean, everything else kind of ran pretty normal. It was just trying to find a place to do it. And that's what our plan is kind of moving forward, is doing the same things. We have, with our dens that are going to start meeting here soon, we don't have a date yet, but we have our new AOLs. They're going to end up meeting with a troop for all of their den meetings. So they'll be doing outdoor meetings with various troops in the area. I have the Weeblos den next year. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up meeting at my house in my backyard, and then having all the meetings outdoors there with the parents. I have a large enough backyard that we can kind of have like a campfire type meetings there. Some of our dens underneath of that, they're doing mostly virtual. So we kind of have a split of everybody doing a lot of different things. Some of them do Zoom meetings like we're doing now. What else for the den meetings? Yeah, I mean, we're kind of covering all the bases there. Some are doing in person, some are doing virtual, some are meeting with troops. Okay. We can't do any indoors. Some of the other things that we've done for other meetings is we've done like Facebook live streaming of things. Like we had a bike clinic for the younger kids where I did like any of the topics that we would have covered in a meeting, and I kind of like went through and covered them on my own as just a video like this, and then posted that to our PAX Facebook page. Some of the people that are meeting are also, they're trying to stream to the private page, or as they're doing a meeting, they're going to present that to the parents. But mainly we're just, we still meet monthly as a committee, and then kind of like revise and change everything as the guidelines change moving forward, and whatever the parents are comfortable with, we try to do as much as we can within that, within that comfort level. Some parents are much more concerned about it than others, so have, a lot to dance around. But,
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing. I mean, I appreciate it. Do you have any idea maybe when you might be able to get back into your church? Have they told you?
No.
No. I know. I know. That's going to prove challenging.
Yeah. And like I said, we're busy, so this has been a big change for us. That was like I imagine for everybody it was a big change. But,
yeah, it is. All right. Well, thanks for sharing all of that with us this evening. Again, his contact information is on here. I asked if we could share it, and he said I could. So if anyone would like to reach out to him, feel free, and he'd be more than happy to help, to share more ideas or ways that they're providing scouting over there.
And there's something we've talked about trying to sort out coming up here is with recruiting. None of us know what we're doing with schools or with any of that sort. So if anybody has any ideas about that, I'd be happy to read them in the email there.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. Take care.
Okay. So next we have, our own Charlie Hughes here with Troop 23 out in Lackawanna District. And I heard that they have been doing some really good things. They've been doing a lot of meeting virtually, I think, and so, but they're also starting to meet in person. I was talking with Charlie. So I guess, Charlie, I'd like to ask you, so how did the meetings go? How have they been going? Maybe at first, maybe what platform did you use? Do you have any tips or things that didn't work well with the virtual meetings? Can you maybe talk to us about that first?
Sure. We did go to virtual meetings as soon as we were closed down. We used WebEx as the platform. We were able to use that. The meeting format was the same as a typical troop meeting. We had our openings, we had skills instructions, we did activities online. The scouts got real creative with coming up with some of the online games. They use some of the tools that are out there that they learned in school. I honestly couldn't tell you what they are now, but they were like a Jeopardy type game. We did one of our early ones was a scavenger hunt, which was kind of cool to watch the kids running through their house with their phones, looking for the various items on the list. It was really a lot of fun. We did that until we were allowed to start getting back together. And we met at a local park, Koenig Field, for about a month and did different activities there. We had a radio merit badge counselor come in and brought his ham station, and he spent the night talking to people all over on that platform. And since then, we have been actually meeting at our church. They have allowed us to come in because we have a separate door basically to the room that we meet in. And we just have to sanitize and clean everything and wear masks, do the social distancing. The troop's small enough that we've been able to do that. We did participate in the National Camp-In. That weekend, we also conducted an Eagle Scout service project. One of the boys who all he had left to do was this project was getting a little frustrated about not being able to do it. But after a brief conversation with him, we worked it out where he could have various families show up at different times so they didn't overlap. And he got his project done while this all was going on, which is pretty cool. And this summer, we also went to Heritage. We participated in the Heritage Summer Camp program, weekend program, but we extended it this year. We went down on Wednesday and did activities on Wednesday, whitewater rafting. Thursday, we did some historic visits, including the fort. Or not Wednesday, it was Friday. And then Saturday we did the shotgun shooting. So we've been functioning all along. We haven't stopped. The kids have been pretty good about keeping their masks on and being separated. Got to remind them once in a while, but for the most part, they've been good.
Well, that sounds good. You guys are lucky you're able to get back into your church, for sure. But again, we still have the great outdoors, and we can use that as much as we can. It is going to start getting dark earlier, though, but, you know, hey, that's what flashlights are for. So, all right. So thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. I did have one other person that I asked to be on the call this evening, and I have to go back. And she wasn't able to join the call tonight because she had to work, but I had heard that her unit was doing a really cool patrol challenge. So I talked with Colleen Pickris. She's a Scoutmaster in Troop 366 in Eagle Valley. And they had a specific patrol challenge that they did. She says she can't take credit for it. She did find it online. It was a troop in the DC area that had published it, but she did reach out to that person and talk to him about it. And he said that they could use it as well too. She said they modified it for their unit. Basically what it is a 5-week, let's see. Yes, 5-week challenge where they had different challenges each week. It was meant to be a patrol challenge. So the patrols were given the task, and they were supposed to, in patrols, you know, complete the project, and then they would be judged, you know, on how many patrol members participated. Did they virtually meet as a patrol to discuss the challenge? The originality of the ideas and the execution of the particular challenges, you know, so she said that they had a great time doing it. I just posted on the screen that, you know, the challenge number 1 that they had was, you know, the cooking challenge. So again, it gave them the challenge, but it also provided to them the specific rank advancements that they could earn by doing that. So she has had agreed to have her contact information here. If you wanted to reach out to her, she would be able to talk to you. And I will also, when I email out the presentation, email out the patrol challenge. So in case you are interested in looking at it, using it, changing it somehow, That's 5 weeks of ideas for you to use in your troops if need be. Okay, so now at this point of the presentation, what I wanted to do, the purpose of this also as well, is we want to have a district breakout session. And then after the breakouts, we're going to come back just for a quick closing. So hang with us, okay? So we're just going to do 20 minutes. There's not a whole lot of people on here and be in each individual breakout. So we don't want to go on for too long. It is going to be timed. So literally you could be in mid-sentence at 20 minutes and then all of a sudden we're all going to be back together again in the main session. But the purpose of this and the reason for doing this, so as a district commissioner, those of us, we've been tasked by our council commissioner to get a list of the units in our districts and find out from you, you know, how are you meeting? How are you meeting? If you're not meeting, what help do you need from us? So the breakout session is, the hope is that it will facilitate a conversation between you as the unit leaders and either the district chair, district commissioner, or district executive that is out there in the breakouts with you. So again, we just want to go unit by unit. We want to check in with you, let them know, yes, we're meeting, you know, we're meeting in person, we can do virtual, or no, we're not meeting, I'm freaking out, I don't know what to do, I need help. And that's great too. Let us know if you need help. Now we know what kind of help to get for you. Charlie, if you're able to.
I wish I had my thingamajigger. All right, let's see here. We have 1, 2, 3. Oh, we have quite a few people on here with us. It's not bad. Charlie, you're here too. All right, well, our task for tonight, is this better? This is much better. Our task for tonight is to have a discussion as to what we're doing in terms of our meeting schedules and to really see how COVID-19 has impacted our meeting schedules or our ability to meet, and what all we can do on the council level to make sure that we're providing all the assistance and guidance that we can for those who are having some challenges. And if there's anybody to where you're not having any challenges whatsoever, or you're having some degree of success, what we want to do is give you a chance to talk and converse with everybody else so that you can share your secrets and your golden nuggets with all the rest of us, just to make sure that we're all, you know, reading from the same book, turning on the same page, and driving in the same lane. And so I would say, I would start off, and I guess after I say a few words, Charlie, you can go ahead and jump in. But not only do I work for the Scouts, but I'm also a registered leader with my son's pack, which is Pack 47. And right now, we're at our weekly scouting meeting. One of the things that we've done to make sure that we can be successful is our chartered org has not really allowed us inside of the building either, like many other chartered orgs. So we've been meeting outside. Our pack master, our leader, Robert Powers, we met once in his backyard. We were socially distanced and we all had on our masks and so forth. And then subsequent meetings, we went hiking the last week. I forget the name of the golf course, but it used to be a golf course. I guess you would call it in Penn Hills. We did about a 2-hour hike there, and everybody had on their masks, and we were also socially distancing. And today we're at the miniature golfing. I think it's called Par 2. Yeah, Par 2 miniature golf here in Monroeville. And so again, we have I don't know, about 7 adults. I think we have more adults than we have kids, which lets you know who wants to come out here and have fun more than the kids do. But because we're all tired of being stuck in the house. But nonetheless, we have more adults than we have kids. My daughter is here, my youngest daughter, and she's in the Girl Scouts. But my son gets jealous that, you know, his sister can come with him, but he can't go with her. And so typically when we have our outside events like this, we have a pretty decent turnout. And again, all the kids have on masks. They're socially distancing as best as we can, but they're definitely 6 feet apart, hopefully, at least when my back is not turned, they're 6 feet apart. But everything has been coming out pretty well. And so we haven't been able to go inside, but we've been meeting outside. And so our challenge is going to come when, you know, tonight we were supposed to have had rain, and apparently the rain has not arrived yet, but we know that the rain's on the way. And so our challenge comes when we have bad weather or the potential of bad weather, or next month when the temperature begins to cool towards the end of the month, and we have to kind of reevaluate how we're going to see one another. But that's what we're doing for PAC 47. And so at this time, I want to invite Charlie to go ahead and pick up the microphone or unmute yourself and give us kind of a spiel. I know you already talked a little bit about what Troop 23 is doing, but if you want to give a little bit more detail to what you guys are doing, or maybe ask somebody else to give their thoughts, go for it.
You've pretty much heard what my troop is doing. We've been going all along. We've been meeting. As I initially said, we started with WebEx and then quickly moved outdoors to the park, socially distanced. We did lots of different activities throughout the summer. So we can move on to others.
Okay.
And I'm going to jump over to check on Eagle Valley.
Okay, go for it. All righty. Let's see here. We have a good number of people on with us tonight.
Basically, we were closed out of anything, and a lot of parents really struggled to kind of feel comfortable getting back in touch in person. We did do a few virtual meetings through the remainder of the scouting year, and we're able to get pretty much everybody finished up with all their advancements. We have been meeting as a leadership team virtually, so that's been a continuation through this whole thing, just trying to kind of keep some activities on the books and try and keep kids together and engaged. We do have an in-person kind of event, advancement event planned for this coming weekend. Actually, we're going to be doing it at South Park at one of the pavilions, doing it outdoors, doing it socially distant, making sure that all the kids kind of had a nice end to their previous scouting year. They'll get all their rank advancements and everything like that. Plan for the fall is our chartered org actually has said that we are able to use their indoor space, keeping it certainly the numbers down, but we're able to have that space available if we want to use it for PAC meetings. We're still trying to decide what we're going to actually do with that, if it makes sense to actually bring all the kids together or not. We are still obviously going to be doing some virtual stuff with the kids, and we're going to be having den meetings continue on outdoors for the time being, and then potentially looking at some indoor meetings at people's houses, just because the den numbers are pretty low. So we can keep it fairly safe with the kids in small numbers.
Okay, so your chartered organization, that's, what is that, First Bethel?
First Bethel United Methodist.
United Methodist. Okay, so you can meet there at the church?
Yeah, we just confirmed that today, that we're going to have access to that, the space in the basement, their meeting space. Like I said, it's not huge. It's not as big as the gym at the school that we were using, but it's big enough that we can have the kids in there, do a basic ceremony if we had to present any kind of awards or advancements, and then kind of keep it really short and sweet. We're not planning on running full PAC meetings, but at least having some place where kids could gather, just to keep tethered to the PAC.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's good. At least, I mean, I know you said you're doing outdoor things now, which is good. The weather's good, but once the weather gets bad, at least you have a place where you can go to. At least
it's nice to have that option. Like I said, we're still not 100% sure how we're going to use that option, but it's certainly one that we're trying to work out some details.
That's awesome. Now, do you guys have a recruitment night set up yet?
So we're looking at the 22nd of September being our recruitment night. We were going to be posting some of this on Facebook. I needed to get confirmation that we could use the church space as an option for that. We're going to have kind of an outdoor setup. If it doesn't rain, if it does rain, we'll have just a little table set up indoors, and have all the safety protocols set up inside for everybody to kind of get to know what we're doing, what we're planning. So that's our first kind of recruitment night. And then our first activity following that, we're thinking of our fishing derby on October 4th. And we usually do that in conjunction with PAC 215 and PAC 8. So all three of us kind of get together as a group to do the fishing derby, typically over at Cannonsburg Lake. I think that's where we're probably going to do if there's actually water in Cannonsburg Lake. So I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know how deep the water is these days.
Okay.
So
that's October 4th, you said?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And that's good. You still get together with the other PACs and such over there in Bethel Park. So
yeah, because we have a relatively small group, we try and kind of do as many combined things so kids feel like there's at least more than just two kids in their dens. So it's nice to have that connection.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else? It sounds like you guys have a really good plan, and you've talked about it. So is there anything you might need from us or right now or council
not that I
help
can
you with?
Not that I could think of right this second, but that will probably change in the weeks as we kind of start to see the stuff unfold. Like I said, this weekend is our kind of our ceremony for everybody kind of getting wrapped up for this previous scouting year. So I think that's going to generate a lot of questions, and we'll probably be moving forward with some new ideas from there. So I'll probably reach out and just kind of keep you posted on where we're standing with some of that stuff.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Thanks, Aaron. Sounds
cool.
Great. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks.
All right. Is there anyone else? I don't see anybody else. Michelle, are you still there or?
I sure am.
Okay, so I know Jared talked, so we got a good rundown. But is there anything else you would like to add about 326?
So we are attempting a camp out this weekend.
Okay.
We're following the lead of my son. My son Alex is in a troop 228. And they have done 2 campouts. So we're kind of following their lead here. And we're having things like temperature checks every day, no shared food, masks at all times. And at the PAC level, we already have separate sleeping arrangements. So there are no shared tents. We didn't have that to contend with. We've got a surprising large group. We've got about 7 families.
Nice.
That really surprised me.
Yeah.
I think people are just super happy for the opportunity to get back together and to be outside. So those are the precautions that we're taking for this camp out. We're looking forward to it. We've got a kind of we call it our welcome back picnic. It will be not a picnic this year. But that's traditionally the Sunday after Labor Day. And so far we're going to go ahead with that. But we have the issue of numbers. Since outdoor activities are limited to 50 people, our PAC plus their families will be exceeding that number. So we're going to need to have some conversation about how to manage that. And otherwise, Jared touched on how we will manage our den meetings. We tend not to start those till the end of September. And I think our recruiting, we haven't officially made a decision about recruiting yet, but one of my thoughts has been to not limit it to just one event, just to use all avenues and have an event or have more than one event. So to invite people to join up through whatever means they hear about us. We did recruit a lion in last month, I believe.
Awesome.
And we did nothing. We didn't do a single thing. This dad knew about scouting, looked us up for the pack closest to him, and found us and signed up. So I'm hopeful, even after hearing about the raise in fees, that we will be able to keep our current scouts and grow as well. We're all just doing our best. I cannot think of anything that we need help with at the moment, but we do have another leader meeting coming up, and I'm sure there will be some things from that meeting. We're all kind of getting our legs under us with regard to how school is going to go. So, yeah, normally we would have had our fall calendar, even our winter calendar, out and ready to roll, and we're just not there yet. So, as the school year gets underway, I think we will have more of a scouting year to go along with it.
Well, I mean, I agree in your thoughts. You don't have to just have one specific sign up night. I mean, you can have multiple ones. They can be your welcome picnic. Any activity that you guys have is an opportunity to showcase what you do in your unit. So
yes, exactly.
Multiple times is fantastic. So just curiosity. I mean, so how is Baldwin doing with schools? Are you all virtual or hybrid?
So I'm not the best person to answer that because not only do we live in Brentwood School District, we are also homeschoolers. So I cannot speak to that. If Jared is still on the line, or Tim, they can
I can speak to that one.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, since all right. Yeah, since both my boys go to Baldwin schools, right now you have an option. So you can either be homeschool, or you could be a hybrid. And so basically what they're doing is they're going by last name, and you would either get Monday or Tuesday for the hybrid schooling to be in the school, or Thursday and Friday. Wednesday is kind of like it's a home day for everybody. So basically it's also for all the teachers and everything to get assignments and or videos out there to everybody as well. Kind of like a work day at home. Yeah. And catch up on any kinds of meetings or anything like that, or any kind of videos that were posted as well. So you have either that option to be hybrid or actually homeschool.
Okay. Exact same in South Park, except Friday is our home day, so it just sounds to me like long weekend for everybody, but I guess I actually have heard that Bethel Park now, since Aaron's on the line, they're going all virtual. So to start out for the first semester. So that's, again,
Yeah, and Baldwin's the first 2 weeks are going to be virtual, and then after that it'll pick up into.
All right. Thank you very much. What was your unit again, Troy? I forget. It's just
1300.
1300. All right. And last but not least, Dave, I know you've talked to some folks like 1017 and so forth. You know what they're doing?
I talked to Nick Hornbeck, who's the Cub Master for 1017 last night, and they're doing a combination of outdoors, and the dens are mostly meeting in people's houses. That way they split it up. It's a very big pack, and their chartered organization unit has not, it's a fire department, has not told them they can't meet, but there is a certain number they're allowed to have in the building, and the pack just doesn't want to deal with it. So at least while the weather is good, they're meeting in the pavilions at South Franklin Park, which is right behind the fire hall anyway. And the dens are mostly meeting in people's homes. Of course, Nick has got the same concern Kim mentioned earlier. It's going to start getting cold, and that's going to get difficult to do. They have fooled around with some virtual stuff for the packs, and with limited success. He's looking for ideas, and I'm sure some of these materials we're getting to him are going to help him. Troop 1017 is meeting. They're meeting in the fire hall as well with no problem. It's a much smaller unit than the pack.
Yeah.
Particularly when the pack shows up, you might have 100 people in there when you count 50, 60 kids, plus parents, plus the siblings, plus the leaders, plus whoever else shows up. And they met on the same night as the troop. So then you also have the troop stuff. Well, just the troop there, it's not a big deal. And nobody's too concerned about it.
Hey, Charlie.
I'm here.
Okay. So is everyone back? We didn't lose anybody?
They're still going in some of the breakout rooms.
Okay.
They got about 20 seconds before they'll all be kicked back over to here.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the countdown, so we'll wait till everyone gets back.
I think that worked fairly well.
All right, Charlie, is everyone back?
Let me look at the participant list.
Okay. All right.
It's like we still got 23 people back in the room.
Okay. So I think that's how many we started with.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds great. Okay. Well, thanks everyone. So we made this in an hour and 15 minutes. So I appreciate you spending time with me this evening. I hope the breakout sessions were, you know, ended up getting you some good information from those who were in attendance. I know I have a lot of notes. You know, we want to make sure that no scouting unit is left behind here. We want to make sure we get you whatever help that you need. Again, I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation, the recording. If Charlie can get that to me, we'll do that as well. Plus attachments, I'll also share that. I'm going to share it with the district chairs and commissioners for Anawanna Trails, Mon Valley, and Lackawanna, and you guys can shoot it out. And then I'll shoot it out to the email distribution list for Eagle Valley. So my contact information's here on the screen. If anybody has any questions and wants to reach out to me directly, feel free. So again, thank you for attending. I appreciate it, and have a great evening, and we'll see you all again soon.